Today has been horrible. Same old people following me around, screaming stuff, saying stuff behind me in drive-throughs. It's a lot going through a hate crime and being the victim of it. These people are ridiculous. Like one guy said, they're the criminals and they think they're going to get money out of it. You don't get money for being a criminal. Today in line, some lady leaned out her window at McDonald's this morning on 62. Uh, Her son said, "This is what happened. They got even with you for calling and telling on him." Well, I don't believe my son said that. And if he did, he's no longer my son. Because if he had people threatening his life, and they were trying to shoot him driving, he was facing 6 stalkers, a gunshot night. He would call someone too, let alone those stalkers were there before I called the FBI. That's why I called. And they were threatening my life. He called too. And I almost died to save my family. Almost got shot in the head driving going down to John's. I had to hide not to get murdered on the gunshot night. I faced, always said 6 stalkers inside Walmart because they chased him off. But there was also an African American girl. I was pumping gas before it started. I felt water on my face. And I look over, and her mouth is where she had spit on me. I grab wipes and I start wiping my face, and she walks off. She has a white boyfriend, and they were harassing me too. Inside Walmart too, if you go to the end of November of 19, there are tapes on 62 Walmart. Go between 10/18 to November of 19, you'll still even see a white hair guy, pitted face, bent over a car. They're still around her. I can't get near her, and saying other stuff about my settlement. Then there'll be an African American girl with a microphone on of her jacket. They're still around her, or is it in her, something? She was holding up. She's like, they're still around her. I can't get near her to stab her. And she had her back to me. She didn't see me. So between that and then the 2 in the restaurant, that's quite a few stalkers. The other ones got chased off or grabbed. And then almost getting shot in the head driving, going down to John's at a slam, talk, and swerve. A split second. It was like a 007 movie. I mean, it was just instantly an instant saved my life. If we weren't doing 60 miles an hour, I wouldn't have seen him pulling the trigger back. I would have already been dead. And then the gunshot night, Dave made a mistake in a big one. Showed up inside the house, and the house caught him how they killed those people. And they caught him on tape and audio. And since they stole the login, the whole United States knows he killed those men. And the widow, I told you to find her at Macy's in Belden on the 5th. And we walked by the men's clone counter. She leans into an older Asian couple. Found out she's trying to help us. And I told these people to stop saying stuff to her. Well, I tried in 19 and I got beat, raped, tortured. Agent involved between July and September 19. Admitted it was an agent involved. 8/18, 4:42 p.m. at Shine in Canton. Agent was seen raping her with a stalker. She can have anything she wants. No one showed up. FedEx 8:27, 3:05 p.m. in Belden. Across from Belden Village. The agent said that he raped her because he was mad at her for not calling 911 on the gunshot night. Well, 2 African American agents bragged at Woodford Walmart register. We stayed out the gunshot night because Dave's girlfriend's prettier, and the guy running it didn't blame us. Find out it's their father. Wood Forest, older white guy with gray hair, mustache, how they stayed out of it and made fun of me, a group of them. We had backup and they let those men die. They said none of this is funny. They're actually dead. There's a man in town that said he got crippled over this. There's supposed to be a really bad part that I don't know about. I only overheard Dave and then what the guys said when they talked around me. So I don't know. They said that you did nothing wrong hiding for your life. It's not wrong to hide, but you don't realize everything that happened. Well, I went to turn him in 19, bought the prepaid phone, video statements, took it down to Seth Arco's attorney in a package, asked him to deliver it, and because I wouldn't tell him what was in it, he wouldn't deliver it. 1239 North Chapel in the middle of the night. You can't be a single woman by herself. We can't have her state what happened up there. Thought they were trying to scare me. No. Arms above head, smothered, punched in my private area, punched up inside. Fourth time gagging for air, I pass out. Sit her up. If she don't state it, do it to her again. They poured something in my mouth and they smearing it on my face. My arms went straight down. Couldn't move. I'm losing consciousness. And I keep telling them no, and they keep smothering, punching me, and hitting me. And I wake up with black and blue marks on my face. There are fingerprints up and down my arms, and my private area is swollen. I'm horrified. I get up the next morning. I put makeup on my face, and I get cleaned up, and I grab my bedding, and they have idiot women waiting down at the laundromat. Tape glitch for hours. She woke up with bruises. Nobody knows why. This is between July and September 19. Tape didn't glitch. Yeah. I see that idiot at Macy's for church one night, and I go to leave. There's a lady with bags. Her car was stolen off her to help her. And she didn't want my help. She had someone coming. She didn't want me to wait. She told me she had someone coming, just to go ahead and go. Went to Faith Family Church. A lot of them had the login. There's over 3,000 of us. He came in the back of the sanctuary. There's over 1,000 people in that sanctuary. I'd arrest that whore. And people are looking at me and him, and I'm crying. And the guy in my church is like, what you did was consider rape. You leave her alone. And yells about Dave and everything else. And by then I'm crying, and people are staring at me and him. And then at Berry Cheese, I worked there between July and September 1st of 19. Also, 4 women in the main room, 2 turnaround. He said, if you open your mouth again, he'll do it to you again. Well, it was ridiculous. Back last November, Melissa, my ex-daughter-in-law, the big liar, tried to take responsibility for that. Why does she want to go to jail for it? Like she's some kind of badass. Had me beat up and raped. Well, that makes her responsible for it. Put her in jail for it. People were leaving messages. Yeah. Well, Flora ratted them out. They had a big mean game of pretend. Giggle, giggle, giggle behind my back. Some lady at the gas station. I went up to the Akron FBI. Now I know my car's bugged. And they can hear me. So can everybody else. So I played my tapes and I gave my statements. Cars start pulling out and pulling around me. Okay. My tapes alone prove I'm innocent. Seriously. It just, but Flora ratted him out October 23rd, 2019. Of course, that never happened. Of course, it wasn't true. We made it up. It was a game of pretend. Okay? Okay. So, what has came out since then, 8/8 of this year, 21, 8:15 to 8:30 at night. The car and the chip picked him up. Did you know he fentanyl her and told her to say it? No, we just found out. We didn't know that they knew the kids were lying, so they thought they'd make a buck off of it. They found me. Okay. 8/9, the kids come running out of the apartment building for me. Second one close to the fence. It's so funny. She figured out. It's so funny. She finally figured out it was Dave that drugged her and told her to say it first. Well, a guy with a bat showed up a few days later, took him around the building, set it loud enough for both parking lots to hear. Yes, they did drug her and tell her to say it before. Whole apartment building knows I was drugged before. Whole United States knows. That's how stupid all this is, because they sold a login for money. 1295 Fairlawn Middle apartment. Little white lady screamed at him right before May 25th. It's not funny. The church people broke in before, drugged her, and told her say she's a weirdo molester. That's not funny. Well, the car and Chip got her. And then Wendy's Louisville was talking about the church people breaking in before, drugging me and telling me to say I was some kind of weirdo, whatever, before that it wasn't funny. They said it from my old client, Jeff, and a bunch of people in town. They were calling him bastards. Well, I don't work for him anymore. He said it's too dark for him. He tried to let me come back and work for him, but they won't leave me alone. Okay? That kids over there in the apartment 2 Sundays ago come running out of the vehicle we testified for today. They told us they were lying. Okay? And their moms talked to several other people. Now that's 3 kids. Okay, now I got the 2 women there. Then Huntington Bank on October 5th. Cleveland Avenue, 1:53 p.m. Go about 10 minutes before. Okay? I don't want women walking behind me and my new client. I don't want Melissa getting any money out of this. She twitches when she thinks of what they did to her. That's okay. They knew they made everything up. They just didn't want anybody to help her. Okay? That's 3. Then you go October 2nd to the 3rd outside Mercy Medical. Okay? She's an informant, and they're all lying on her. And the officer said, well, that's okay. I'll make sure no one says anything to her. Tape and audio outside Mercy Medical the 2nd into the 3rd. Okay, so how many do we have now? 4 women, 3 kids. Yeah. And then that whole apartment building knows I was drugged before, and Wendy's. And Jeff told Jim and Brian he heard it. And I got them taped with their permission of knowing of it. Okay. And then a week ago, Monday from today, I was with my new client in Mercy Medical. Some of the nurses were sitting in the back. Tape and audio. Boy, we all know they drugged her before. Okay. I went to go to, what is it? I went to go to the gift shop, and in one of the hallways, some guy said, I know they sold her for money. I would love to talk to her. He didn't come up and talk to me. Okay. In the other apartment building, some guy got out last week. Well, within the last 2 weeks. I found the case. She's an informant. It's amazing what she lived through. And the lady went, well, we all know that they drugged her before. Let's go inside so she can't hear. I'm like, stay outside. I'd love to hear you talk about it. It is amazing. By the grace of God in my life. I mean, I stutter. I have been through so much. I stutter. And these rat bastards, there's a Steve, Eric, Kurt, Chris, Mark, a Christine somebody left, some lady saying she drugged me too. I woke up with black and blue marks. I never talked to no officer, no agent, no Steve, Eric, Kurt, Chris, Mark, Craig, Christine, Henry. They leave all kinds of men's name around me. And women's. And some woman said she did. I didn't even talk to mom on the friend. No officer, no agent, no money. When I talked to Dave, just to clear all bases, if they're going to lie that everybody was fine, including when I watched him 6-7 years ago, and he calls Melissa childish, and you're good to everyone, don't worry about it. Be pretty rotten she said anything about you. Then he's supposed to have felt on me. It makes more sense why I was throwing up when he touched my drinks, and when he stopped touching my drinks, I stopped throwing up. So, yeah, I went from 215 down to 150 within 3 months, 3 to 4. I was losing that much weight. Give you an idea? Plus, he beat me on the steroid, and I have intestinal swelling, but now I'm like 135. It's crazy. 135 to 104. I mean, that's it. But I was losing 5 to 6 pounds a week. Now, when I talk to him, he defends me on 2 tapes, and John didn't know. And I confront him that he even knew that John didn't know. Where would he get his tapes? I mean, honestly. When I talk about John, I taped him and I brag on him all the time. I used to all the time. I was so proud of him. He had got enough education to even taught college. And then Joshy, I've never been mean to you or bad. Never said you did. And then I got the girls, Crystal and Flora, Daniel and Tyler. The police were driving around when Gabe braked all over me. Even Danny said nice things about me. So they already told me, came up and said, we interviewed her whole family a long time ago. She never hurt anyone. So where would they get their tapes? They're either a black and blue mark, or the church people weren't funny breaking in before drugging me, or apparently Dave Fenton and told me to say something stupid. I've heard it's really sick stuff. Somebody said, it's sick. They gave her an amnesia drug and told her to say gay sick stuff. I'm like, oh my God. I'm not gay. I don't care if you're gay. I'm not gay. Well, they told you to say the mean game of pretend. It's like, that's stupid. It's a mean game of pretend they made up. And like Flora said, of course it never happened. Of course it wasn't true. We made it up. Liberty House Share, June of 19. The FBI is there in either North Canton or Jackson Police. Worst thing you ever did wrong, honey, is you bent over properly. We can wipe that one out and laugh and let me get the door for you. Well, they only made fun of the back of my knees. That was her first lie. She had them change it to a nightgown I didn't even own 6 years ago. Where they went, ooh, Grandma, what's on the back of your legs? I have varicose veins right behind my knees. I said, varicose veins? Here, hold Papa while I get changed. We were video chatting. Okay? Dave would have said something. And plus, I didn't own that nightgown. I had him verify it. Okay? That was her first lie. They only made fun of the back of my knees, and they changed it to told everybody to see my butt, and they didn't. Like 6 years ago by accident. And it didn't happen, and they only seen the back of my knees. Okay? I can't wear something you didn't know. Plus, I wouldn't wear something like that anyways. Had a big, long time grandma nightgown to wear. Okay. Because Melissa's so stupid. She made everything up when you're fishing with Dave. She's actually that stupid. She didn't check where you were. Then the butt thing. Then the second one, they looked through a cracked bathroom door, seeing you being weird with yourself. And I got witnesses. I was outside with Jen and Dave and Noah and John and Gabe. Dave and Jen admitted on my tape, and then Daniel admitted it for the police that were driving around. Okay, and the third lie, they'll make up something, call you a bad word, the mean game, or pretend. And they told me the only thing they have on, now I'm going to show you. The only thing they have on you is you adjusted yourself. I guess I wiped off some water with clothes on that was running. The only thing they got on you is you adjusted yourself. You didn't expose yourself. You're good. God of heaven, right between the eyes. They had no legal right taping me unaware and spying. And did I just do something wrong? No. I wiped off running water with clothes on. There was a guy inside McDonald's, got salt all over his pants, stood up, wiped off his private area in between his legs in the chair. Okay? Baseball players grab their whole front area, hike their leg up, and do it in front of millions of people. Okay? Guys adjust their front area. Bathing suits, you get out of the pool, what happens? You pull it out of your crotch, your butt, in between your legs, your front, and then adjust your top and dry off everywhere. It's called adjusting yourself. You have 5 minutes to explain to yourself that you're not running off, hurt yourself, you don't have a catheter, you don't have surgery, something. Otherwise, you have 5 minutes to fix yourself because you're human. Some cars drove by me. You know why you wiped off the water? It's because you're human. They have dehumanized me. They forgot. You wipe off water with clothes on. It's not wrong. Not wrong at all. And that's the only thing they got on me, is I wiped some water off with clothes on. And they tried to make that dirty and thought they were going to make a buck off of it. Talked to the prosecutor's office. He started laughing. I said, they don't get money out of that. He's like, no, they don't. And they don't get money out of drugging me and tell me to say something stupid. Oh, and then I love it when they try to say, well, we use sodium on her. Where I'd be in my bedroom asleep, I thought I heard footsteps in the room and go black. Wake up with a black and blue mark on my leg. And I get up and go to the stores. We always knew you were innocent. You tell someone you're innocent. I'm like, who are you? And why are you me? And walk off. Okay? They don't use sodium pentothal. They're using people's low IQs and low intelligence to fool them. False confession, Google sodium pentothal. Questioner gets what it wants, right or wrong. Falsely confessed to luring children. Falsely confessed to writing ransom notes. Falsely confessed to Pearl Harbor. False confessions to crimes too. Illegal sodium pentothal. Google that one. FDA prohibits any use in humans and not to be brought in the United States. Lethal sodium pentothal. It's used to put animals, humans down in an anthrax. So they're going to say they gave me a lethal injection to make me lie? Is that what they're saying? They damaged my heart? Because I may have a septal infarct in my heart. They want to pay for it? Because whatever they'd ask me, I'd just say yes under something. That and wherever they get it, from a vet? Or from a jail that they put lethal injections. Because you can't get it anywhere else. Because it's lethal. So, yeah, and then they run around and, yeah, the toxic water people, endless. Oh, and Jen, my daughter-in-law, she's sitting there. Now, everybody's house is mugged. And plus, I have that neurochip and it feeds into cell phones, okay? I was in Shine. I thought of the violent beat, rape, and torture. And this girl sitting behind me looking at the cell phone, she looked at me, I seen what they did, and she hit it on her tarp and looked straight up. Okay? Jen reached down. She's sitting with her legs all apart on the couch, and I think she had tan shorts on, and she reached down and she either adjusted a pad or underwear. It's not wrong with clothes on. This one lady on the other street, she had stretch pants on, stuck to her chair, stood up, pulled the underwear out of her butt, out the front, in between her legs, and smoothed off everything. Was she being weird? No. And she was touching every part of her body. She was adjusting and smoothing everything back out. You can touch any part of your body. Sunday at 3 o'clock, this last Sunday, people were moving out of my new client, Paul's other building. And the guy said, I seen that tape from before. She only wiped off running water. He said, I know. I seen it too, and I told these people to stop saying stuff to her. She was not ever like that before. She just wiped off running water. That's all she did. Okay? That's all I did. And like the lady said at Rite Aid, what was it? I was there April 10th and May 4th. I may have been in there one or two other times in between. You didn't expose yourself, you're good. They told nurse at Mercy Medical on 3/13 this year. A lady from the agency showed up. No man was ever to touch her. Nurse comes in laughing. The only thing they got on you is adjusting yourself. And the guy's like, that's sick. She said, no, it's funny. That's all they got. Everything else is black and blue marks, drugs. The church doing it or Dave fentanyl me. Now, Dave's dating Judge Pete's daughter the way they're talking. Her name's Michelle. It's supposed to be a young blonde girl. Memorial Day weekend 2019, food counter 62 Walmart. For an old white woman, African American man, while I'm paying for my cheesecakes. For it's my daughter, her husband dates. He met her in Ravenna when she was having a stomach spell at a store. It's for my daughter they did all this for, and our family down here watching her doing this. And for who's Karen's rich boyfriend but the state of Ohio who protects her. Everybody said I had a rich boyfriend because I had legal departments following me around grabbing him. And I didn't have anyone. So she's mocking me for that. None of this is funny. They said on the gunshot night, those two men are actually dead. And when I tried to get that lady help, they raped and tortured me. And warned me to stay quiet. These people do not get money. The only time I talked to Will, I told him I was scared. Well, I called the hotline. It took 2 days for Will to call back. He left his number, okay? 4 days for me to call him back. And in between that, I went fetal. I did. I curled up in my bed and I cried like a baby girl cried my eyes out. My marriage is over. They're trying to kill me. I had been in Giant Eagle. Oh, what was it? The 18th to 21st of September. And we're, Dave, I love you, but I love her more. I'm so sorry, Karen. I hired a man to slit your throat, stab you in the heart. You'll bleed out, Karen. But if you're trying to run for it, I got a man to put a bullet in. One lying. He's a bastard. But he won liar. Okay? And then Terry on the phone where I thought I was getting baby mama. Guess who I was on the phone with? You're kidding. I almost tricked her into coming down to prayer with those two men and take care of her. Show up and take care of her. You know, nobody in the church would help her. I actually told her to, I'd step in for prayer for her as if I couldn't believe it came out of my own mouth. This is the woman I did all kinds of good deeds for years. And then they said, well, it's about as bad as Kaylee. She used a different minister because Keith charged too much money. Okay? Well, you know who was in the meeting but hire those two men? It was Keith Bishop, Strange, and Ron wants her dead because she got well the year his kid died. I gasped and hung up. Had nothing to do with his kid dying. Phil was running late for a church baseball game. He ran a stop sign. And a semi hit him, blew up the vehicle. Phil wasn't showable, and Tyler got ejected. And his neck was broken. He was dead instantly. My whole family's 20, 30 miles away. Had nothing to do with nothing. He lost it at the funeral, screaming backwards, laying on the floor like a 3-year-old. They had to carry him out. Tell him to get himself together. Everybody overdid for him because he's a millionaire. Okay? And, yeah. They told him in his mentally ill mind that I was faking. I was sick and I was faking. I got well a few months later. I have documents. I was sick. Okay? 8 years after that kid's funeral, he was on Blaylock's pulpit. I hate God for taking the thing I love the most, not demeaning my other children, but I hate him. Blaspheming the Almighty God from a pulpit with a microphone. Who can do that? A millionaire. Nobody else. They felt sorry for him. Anybody else would have got their ass dragged out of that church and told not to come back. Yeah. And he was supposed to have helped pay $25,000 to have me murdered. 6 stalkers showed up. Well, if they want to hire an assassin, should be between October 18th and the end of 12 of 18. I don't think it goes into January of 19. I'm in there, and the guys that watch me are way off in the distance. Way off in the distance. Okay? White hair guy, hazel blue eyes. I'm part of the 25,000. Strange hired me. I want to see her. I could hear him. He comes up around me. He said, I want to see her. And I'm like, yeah. Okay? They want to hire an assassin under tape and audio. Go to Woodforest in Canton off of 62 Walmart. Okay? That's how not funny this is. And if I called that agent, okay. Now getting back to what I was saying. I called the hotline. And 2 days for Will to call me back. 2 days I went fetal. Okay. 3rd day I got up and mowed the lawn. Called Sarah, this lady that worked at a jewelry store in the mall. I knew her. And she had told me that this one girl, Katie, was leaving threats in the mall. They had a permanent plan to do away with me and teach me a lesson I'd never forget. And she said it even was getting darker and scarier the way they were talking. Okay, and when I called her, I said, if I call someone, will you testify? Or, let them know that they're threatening me. Yeah, Karen, I'll do it. Well, I went and bought a card and a gift card. And I put Will's number, and I didn't call him back yet. Left it, and they put it in her locker. She already left for a honeymoon. Okay? or her wedding or whatever. She was already gone. Okay. So I go up to Apostolic Church of Barberton with Dave after we drop it off at the mall. Paymer gets in. Dave's face, my God, I had an FBI agent. He's right there. He looks just like Judge Timothy. Black hair, dark eyes, black glasses, 4 years, maybe. He's sitting down, I'd say 5'9", 165 pounds. Spitting image of him, could be his son. Okay? And I walk off. Okay? I never had to stay quiet. Never. He just told on me to the bad churches. Found out Dave's taping me out. Some Steve, Eric, Kurt, Chris, Mark, Mama's attorney friend, trying to act like they got a court order to tape me unaware. There's no probable cause. None. It has to be police and hire. It can't be a Mama's attorney friend. They wouldn't let Seth and I go tape Dave, and he tried to kill me. Would they? No. They tell us stay out of it, let the police handle it, right? So the tapes can't get altered. Because they break, they put 2 clips together and put me in a board. Okay? And it's not funny. They stopped their tapes. They fentanyled me. And told me, Dave fentanyled me and told me to say something stupid. And it's not funny. The church people were breaking in apparently and drugging me too. And they all participated. Why? Because of Michelle, and it came out it was Judge Pete's daughter from that courthouse. Okay? I don't know Judge Pete. He only did a cute skit with Judge Timothy for you. Had us look into it. You knew she couldn't handle it. You knew she appreciated us doing it. You can find she did nothing wrong. Judge Pete walks by and Judge Timothy comes in laughing. We're ready to begin. And the undercover police in the courthouse stopped following me that day. You know,